How does front-end innovation work at Givaudan? And how is the company engaging with the startup ecosystem?
So front-end innovation for Givaudan is all about the front-end part of the innovation funnel. So it's really when ideas are emerging, very early stage, and we started this at Givaudan pretty much like to be more like explorers, right? So we were doing like very much like back-end innovation, doing the typical R&D, but then we said, okay, we got to go a little bit up in that funnel and look for more ideas. You know, we said like, you know what, we don't know. And then we said, okay, let's be like, you know, more into that front-end part. From the beginning, what we said is that we will not create like a SWAT team to only do this. We say, okay, there are people that are already looking at startups and we should partner with them. They should be our antennas, you know, around the world, make sure that they understand what we are looking for and they give us the deal flow. Once we get like this curated deal flow, then we take them, assess, do due diligence, and bring through the organization. So essentially there is the find, which is not done by us necessarily. Okay, the teams can do one here, you know, another there, but the 1,000 companies we see every year, it's more coming from accelerators, you know, VC investors, and other like scouters that are out there, you know, looking for our needs. So essentially we are looking for technology in our space. I mean, remember, we do innovation, right? We do R&D. We invest nearly like $500 million in innovation every year as a company, right? For both divisions. But then again, we understand that there are great innovators out there. So of course we can create our own IP, but if someone is already building that IP outside, we say, okay, how can we nurture, accelerate, scale, and bring that to market? So our number one is looking at technology and joint development agreements, and then provide our infrastructure to bring that to market. Can we invest? Yes. Our, let's say, formal approach to investments is through funds. So we are part of 5 VC funds. They do the investment. We can also participate and you know, see what they are bringing to us. Do we invest directly? Yes, but that's more the exception than the case. The case is through the funds, and the case is joint development.
What have you kind of learnt from joint development through agreements and things you've already developed about how best to structure these so that it's a win-win for both parties?
It's always the first question, right? Like asking to the startups what they are looking for and how can we help. For instance, if the company is saying like, you know, Alex, I love Givaudan, you know, you guys know a lot, you have a lot of capabilities, a lot of scientists, but essentially I need cash, we probably say, okay, maybe we are not the best partners for you right now. So essentially it's really saying like where we can contribute to their journey, right? And then of course like looking at the technology, how they can contribute to our journey. And then we put that into the joint development. Okay, this is what we bring, this is what the startup brings, and then everybody's clear, you know, on how we can actually accelerate that. So it's really about like trading at the end on our side, capabilities, knowledge, you know, insights, scale up for access to their IP. We are looking for ingredient technology, right? So let's say the next generation of taste solutions, right? I mean, we do taste, but maybe there is someone doing like a, you know, amazing umami solution. Okay, that's an ingredient technology, right? Or someone is doing like a technology that can reduce, you know, sugar in application. Okay, that's another technology that we would love to see. That's more like what we call ingredient technology. Enabling or processing technology is more like concentration, extraction, new biotech technologies, technologies to make ingredients. So either we are looking for an ingredient or we are looking for best ways to do those ingredients, right? That will help us to save costs, get better performance and so on. I mean, one that I love and we know a lot about this is what we call, you know, delivery systems or encapsulation technologies. I mean, we are here now with the Growth Hack, healthy nutrition, and one of the key questions is like how you deliver that nutrition in application, right? Because maybe then it's not heat resistant, it's not pH resistant, it doesn't deliver on the right part in your body. So that's one enabling technology, right? On how you get the ingredient into application or into someone's body. That technology I love, right? Other things like, you know, the next generation of drying technologies, right? We see like this supercritical CO2, For instance, that once you do that, maybe it's more sustainable. You can also like preserve the futures of the product more than using other types of drying technologies. So these are some of the enabling technologies we like.
Can you talk a bit, just finally, about how Givaudan has worked on this latest Mr. Growtac?
Here, it's like we are not doing this alone, right? We are actually looking into how that technology could be integrated into the value chain. Because I have the fat company, I have the extrusion company, I have the brand, and then I'm looking at all different aspects. So that's one thing that we really like. So we kind of take the kind of one-on-one assessment and we bring it here, and we have more wisdom. We have more ideas, more insights on how to look into that technology, not only from a taste perspective where we play, but also like in a more kind of integrated way. And of course you have more people, you have more minds. Normally the output you get is much broader. I think fermentation is a technology that can scale, but what is the right product to break through the market? I think that is where the question is. I think as one example, they have a good value proposition there. They still have a lot to do, in terms of cost and penetrating the market. But I think you go more into the specialties, you can break through and bring like precision fermentation, to play more into food ingredients.
Is this whole GLP-1 space an area that Givaudan is looking at, and if so, how could you engage?
I mean, it's still like a very emerging space, right? So here I may speak more like for myself. I think it's an emerging space, right? So I think there's a lot to learn. There is this whole thing about like natural solutions, right? That could go beyond like what pharma is produced. So we see a lot of startups doing this. We are curious to see how that goes. It goes back to like the science which can be backed by data, right? So it all goes back to clinical, and there we don't see a lot.